This is Juan Salazar here from the Foundry. I'm the Nuke Studio Product Manager, and today I'm going to give you some tips about onlining in Nuke Studio and how I do it on some of the shows that I worked on. The show I'll be using today is actually done by the guys at 1920, so thank you very much, Ludo and everyone there, for giving us the footage and letting us use it for this show. So with no further ado, let's actually jump straight into it. So let's talk about the interface. When you open Nuke Studio, you'll get this first panel that will let you start a new project, open a project, and it will have the recent projects that you have been working on this section. Now I'm gonna open this one just so I can show you the rest of the interface with something I have live, and you can see what actually populates the different areas. So what we have here is, the first thing is, on the left hand side you'll find your project bin where all the media and sequences that we're going to be working on will be, and you'll be able to create different folders and you'll have things inside folders, and you can see there are different type of icons that I'll explain later, and you have different modes of viewing the data that you're looking at, and I'll go through that a little bit later on. Now at the bottom you have your sequence. So here's where you'll be able to create your edits, and obviously you can jump between different shots and the viewer will update based on that. Now your viewer has the same name as your sequence. I'll show you a little bit more about this later on, but it's because we have the ability to have multiple sequences or multiple viewers at the same time. So I'll be showing you a little bit of that and why that is important throughout this webinar. Now on the right hand side you have the properties. So this is where you'll find the properties for any soft effects that we'll add in the timeline, and we'll be able to change colors, for example in this case, and you can see how that reacts immediately on our viewer. Now down here you have as well the node graph. I won't be covering that on this webinar, but just for you to know, that's where you'll find your compositing side and your nodes, and I'll be able to create my comps in this part. All this is just a layout or a workspace, which means I can put tabs in these different panels. So I can move them. For example, I can take the media panel and move it into this side, and I'll be able to change my layout or workspace as I want. We have actually sent out some workspace already defined that you can find in the menu, workspace, and you have conforming, editing, reviewing, timeline, finishing, compositing. But you can create your own, as I have here for comparing, conform with a monitor output, and for grading. So for example, if I go to compare, which is one that I have generated myself, you can see I have 3 different sequences that I can load in here to compare the 3 different sequences at the same time. And I'll show you a little bit of why I do this later on.